published 17:30 Eastern Standard Time, the 23rd of February 2018, updated 1952 Eastern Standard Time, the 23rd of February 2018. Dylan Hartley was just out of school and yet to embark on his professional rugby career when Scotland last scored a try against England at Murrayfield. Since that day in 2004, the 31-year-old hooker has gone on to win 91 caps and become a highly successful Test captain for England. Sam Underhill, at 21, the youngest player in Eddie Jones's squad, was 11 when in 2008 Scotland last beat England to win the Calcutta Cup. A decade on, Steve Borthwick has gone from being national captain to forwards coach. Dylan Hartley was only 16 when Scotland last scored a try against England at Murrayfield. Eddie Jones' squad travelled to Murrayfield on Saturday to take on Scotland in the Calcutta CupIn the professional era. This has been a mismatch. It has been an era of English dominance. There have been 23 instalments of this cross-border conflict in that time, and there have been 19 England wins, 1 draw and just 3 Scottish triumphs. Richard Wigglesworth is the sole member of England's Matchday 23 who has experienced defeat here. 4 years ago, the hosts were unable to register a point at Murrayfield, while last year they went to Twickenham fired by the belief that they could end generations of failure, only to be thrashed 61-21. These are not the hallmarks of a meaningful rivalry. For all the talk of Scotland's growing potency in their own stadium, a victory for Gregor Townsend's men would be a monumental upset. Sam Underhill was 11 when in 2008 Scotland last beat England to win the Calcutta Cup. This is not just a big neighbour, small neighbour dynamic. The England v Wales rivalry is very much ANWL, and the same goes for England v Ireland. But the only tension in this case is founded on age-old animosity, rather than on a competitive sporting tussle. The build-up to Saturday's game has been cagey and low-key. There has been an outbreak of mutual diplomacy as Townsend acclaimed England and his brilliant counterpart before Jones voiced his respect for the host nation. A fortnight ago, the Australian publicly called out Rhys Patchell in an attempt to undermine the self-belief of the Wales playmaker, a ploy that paid off handsomely. This time, he chose not to target Finn Russell, but there can be no doubt that England will set out to hunt the Scottish fly half in the knowledge that his decision-making can unravel under pressure. One Finn Russell v George Ford. Russell has plenty of talent and brings great tempo to the game, but needs to really lead his team. Ford is a very smooth operator and brings the best out of the backs, particularly Farrell. He shows more variety than Russell, and this could be a match in which his attacking kicking game comes to the fore. 2 Stuart Hogg v Mike Brown, a complete contrast in styles. Hogg is a bag of tricks, a great attacker and playmaker with exceptional pace, Scotland's go-to man. Brown, who was very good against Wales, is an old-fashioned rock in defence, and that might be important if the Scots build up a head of steam. I'd love to see him come out and match Hogg, a feature of Brown's game we have not seen for a couple of seasons. 3 Hamish Watson v Chris Robshaw. Watson has not quite been the force at the breakdown he was last season, but Scotland will be looking for him to pilfer ball and influence a few turnovers. Robshaw is filling in at 7 but doing a decent job, and so far remains an important cog up front for England. Playing in a very physical team helps him do well in all 3 back row positions. One of the key battles to come out of Scotland v England could be Finn Russell v George Ford. The build-up to Saturday's game has been cagey and low-key without strong words spoken. There have been some cracks in the facade of diplomacy. Townsend was due to meet referee Nigel Owens on Friday, armed with a message about England's defence, which he suggested operates offside. In return, England may be tempted to draw attention to the fact that Scotland tight head Simon Bergen spends a lot of scrum time on his knees. It was Bergen who spoke with searing honesty about hating the English during his upbringing in New Zealand, before being ordered to return with a more sanitised public message about the old enemy. Such bites are no longer the party line, but there can be no doubt that the Scottish challenge will be fueled by a sense that this is the fixture which matters above all others. There was a more pointed assessment of the Scots from Jones during the launch event for this year's NatWest Six Nations. Referring to them as the new darlings of the European Test scene, England's head coach claimed they are a side-to-side team. Townsend insisted that the main focus for his men would be to move forwards, but that ambition will be met by significant English clout, enhanced by the return of giant number 8 Nathan Hughes. Scotland's tendency to suffer from travel sickness was brutally exposed by Wales in Cardiff on the Championship's opening weekend. But there is also a more profound doubt about their ability to function on the back foot. Jones made a pointed assessment of Scotland during the launch of the Six Nations this year. They faced such a scenario 12 months ago and the outcome was a shattering ordeal. The defence fell apart and England plundered 7 tries. Murrayfield should serve as a leveller of sorts, but this is not a place where Jones's men fear to tread. This is where it all began for this successful regime 2 years ago, and the side have developed since then. With a cold, clear evening forecast, Townsend's men have a prime opportunity to end that 14-year wait for a try against these opponents at this venue. Scotland have far greater cut and thrust out wide these days, with Stuart Hogg and Hugh Jones more than capable of troubling the visitors' formidable defence. Jonathan Joseph is preferred at outside centre on the basis of his knack for sensing and containing such threats. Scotland head coach Gregor Townsend will be on home turf at Edinburgh's Murrayfield. Scotland will seek to add substance to the hype generated by their autumn feats, when they came close to ambushing the mighty All Blacks, before trouncing Australia. In contrast, England have all the substance of a winning habit under Jones, but they will want greater conviction, consistency and fluency in the performance. This is not quite an utter formality. There are threats in blue up front as well as out wide, a back row with pace and breakdown pedigree, and locks who can make a ball-carrying impact. The Scots also have a fine goal kicker in Greg Laidlaw. But in most areas there are English trump cards, in terms of power and creativity, resilience and intensity, belief and momentum. Do not expect the Calcutta Cup rivalry to regain much meaning on Saturday. Scotland's Greg Laidlaw is a fine goal kicker and could provide problems for England.